All right, welcome to the Average Suck Show. Michael Bernoff here, and I'm super excited about this interview. And I've already completed this interview with Anton. It was absolutely incredible. I wanted to shoot this video prior to give you a little heads up and an insight. And here is a young guy, super excited, that took his business to $30,000 a month. And for most people, that's really incredible. The best part is he is a millennial. And I don't know what your opinions are on millennials, how you think about them, whether you have a kid that's a millennial, a teammate, you're looking to hire one. He shares the inner workings on how millennials work, what they think about. But one of the hidden gems of a millennial is they have that one thing that you and I, you've had before, where you have that blind enthusiasm, that excitement, that desire to do a great job and push through, and how he harnessed that to build his business and impact his life in a major way. So while you're watching this, you're going to see parts of yourself in the past. He's also going to reveal to you the inner workings of how millennials work and how to work with them best, and little things you might not have noticed to eliminate the frustration when it comes to the gap between your generation and possibly theirs. So enjoy the interview. I'm excited to show you what Anton has created. If you haven't liked and subscribed, make certain to do that. Get the notifications on iTunes and YouTube. Make certain to stay in the fold, because the Average Suck Show is about showing you how to live above average, something that Anton does, and you're going to learn how to do as well. Enjoy. Well, hello and welcome to the Average Suck Show. I'm Michael Bernoff, and I'm super excited about this show for a lot of reasons. I have a very good friend and a student of ours for years that is absolutely doing incredible things in the world, and somebody you definitely want to listen to. So I don't know how you're watching this right now or listening to this podcast. I'm super excited that you're here, and the entire show is dedicated to people that are going above average in their life, that are not okay with where they're at, that truly desire to be all of themselves. And our guest today is nobody other than a gentleman that I met at 24 years old. Am I correct?
24.
Is Mr. Anton, and I'm going to get this name absolutely correct. Liberopoulos. Did I get it right?
You killed it.
Killed it. Okay, killed it. From my big fat Greek wedding. Okay, is that correct?
I was in it 20 years ago.
20 years ago. He wasn't even born. He wasn't even born yet. And Anton and I met. He has been an entrepreneur for
almost 5 years now.
5 years.
Yeah.
We met at about 24 years old. How old are you now?
I'm 28.
28 years old, and he is a millennial. And I had to look up what that meant. Earlier today.
I guess they put me in that box.
I've been blaming everyone, Anton, as a millennial. That anybody who just does something weirder than I do, I'd say, oh, it must be a millennial. I've been saying that for years. But what I found out, it was like basically 1981 to 96. There's a group of humans.
They just stick people in there,
you speak
in that box.
Millenonics or whatever it is. That
Millenonics.
You speak your own thing. But I'm excited about this because you're doing big things in the world. And at 24 years old, I want to understand a couple things. You reached out to us. You said you want to work on yourself. You want to make things change. Yeah. It is so easy at 24 years old just to kind of accept life for what it is and just go through your party phase.
Yeah, you really don't
go crazy.
You don't know what's going on. You really have not a clue. I remember I did not have a clue what was happening.
How the hell did you find me?
I actually listened to a call to action.
Okay.
And I felt immediately something very, very, very different.
I did that for you.
Yeah, I know.
I knew the Greek guy was on the phone. I knew there was a 24-year-old Millenonics guy.
You were like, Euros.
Like, what's that? Yep. I knew we were going to get there. So what was it that triggered that? And then I want to give you a little more of your background.
There was something about the language patterns, and now looking back, the way you talked and the way you delivered, I felt there, oh, wow, I know how to do things. I know how to make things work in my life that I haven't done before. And I can jump in and get them done. And immediately after that call, I went out and I accomplished one little thing that I had been thinking about for months.
I got to ask what it was.
That was the win right there.
What was it?
Well, I found you through Adam Lyons. He did a promotion through an email list.
Adam's amazing.
And growing up,
he's like the foremost expert. If anyone doesn't know Adam, he is the foremost expert on influence and dating and advice on how to actually, be yourself in a relationship.
Yeah, it's a lot deeper.
But it's deeper than that. Like
way
that's
deeper.
What the world would call it, but he really
Goes
cares.
Very
and he wants the real you to show up in any form of relationship so you can make it work. So when he said, can we do a training? I'm like, of course.
It's done. Yeah. And when I got on that call, what you guys were saying, immediately I went after it because I grew up super shy. And I had a lot of issues with the opposite sex. I did not know how to communicate.
What were
with
the
women.
issues you had with them?
I didn't know how to communicate.
I just want to just share with you from a communication standpoint. Think about the words. You said I had a lot of issues with the opposite sex. So like you had problems with them. Think about the word in general.
I did not know how to communicate with them.
Okay,
and
so did you have issues with them, or you had issues communicating with them?
I had issues communicating with them.
Because you didn't have issues with them.
Thank you for clarifying.
Think about that concept, because you didn't want to have issues. You liked them. Does that
Right.
make sense?
Yeah.
you just didn't have an issue with them. You told yourself you had an issue to avoid them.
Right.
Shocking.
Correct. Spot on. And see, I didn't even know I had a communication problem at that time. I just thought when I talk to them, they don't like me. And right after listening to that
do you
call,
know how many people, and I'm going to interrupt you for a second,
millions.
How many people watching this right now are literally dealing with that from sales,
They're
from business
sick.
and life, and
Yeah.
they have issues with something, and it's just they just don't know how to deal with it?
Yeah. They
So
don't know how to label it.
that was you at 24?
yeah.
Okay. Tell me more.
Yeah, and I didn't know how to label that. I didn't know how to communicate with them. I didn't even realize communication was the problem. And at the time, I felt something different on that call. And then I went out and I was able to just walk up to a random stranger at the college that I was at. Well, I had already dropped out a
Where
year
was the
before.
school?
What's that?
Where at school?
This was University of New Orleans.
Okay.
And I met this girl a few months back, and she was blown away. I was in a club in Denver where I had traveled to with my mom and my grandmother to look at real estate with my business partner, Tim. And
Now, just so we can understand, because we don't all speak millennials.
Right.
This is, what year are we talking about? So is this 24, 25 years old?
this is now.
Okay, got it. Okay,
And
so
she was blown. I'll go back to the other story. She was blown away by how excited and happy I was, because she has flown back and forth to Tulane selling medical, and she was around my age. She sells medical devices to the Tulane hospital out there, and she was blown away. She's like, "I want the drugs that you're on."
Okay. That's how people look at young people. They think they're on drugs.
Well, that's how all the young people around my age, millennials, that's the millennionics communication patterns that they communicate with each other with. They don't even realize.
It's a new term we got.
They're blown away by
Millennionics.com. I want to sell some stuff on there.
It's very fascinating that she did not believe me that I was not on drugs, because different exercises and different strategies and different things that I've implemented at your core strength event have allowed me to be way happier than when I used drugs and when I used to drink alcohol. She was blown away that I was the only sober one person there, and she didn't believe me.
Who was this?
This was just this random girl that I met at a club, and nice. I was the only sober person there. And I mean, I don't even go to nightclubs anymore. That was the first one I had been to in over a year. And it reaffirmed to me how far ahead that I am, farther ahead than my generation. And I don't say that because, I want to be ahead. It's just I've psychologically wired my body and my nervous system, and learning a lot from core strength and implementing different strategies from your HIT training on how to be happier than everyone else that is fighting this thing using drugs or alcohol.
I love it.
I was so surprised by that, and it reaffirmed in me, wow, like I have something powerful. I have learned from other people how to implement in myself, how to take control of my life, how to be happy without looking for external shit. And it's a lot of what I've learned at Core Strength. I had that experience after Call to Action, my first time when I was 24 years old. I listened to that call with you and Adam. And right after that call, I went out, talked to someone I had never met before, and she's like, man, I would love to talk to you again. And like, this was a random girl that I met, and I had done that here and there randomly, but now I felt like I was at the cause of it. I could control it, and I could create it at will. And that was a confidence that I didn't have. So I said, wow, this Michael Bernoff guy, what was that?
I got you.
It woke me up. And so after that, after going deeper, it just opened my whole world up to where I was like, okay, I need to go into more of this. And then it led to Core Strength just a few months later. And then when I went to Core, I met one person there.
Who was that? That
was Toby.
Okay.
And then 5 weeks later, I go to HIT. And the skills that I learned at HIT, combined with the relationship that I built at Core, 3 weeks after HIT, I launched a new business with Toby and the skills that I learned at HIT. And within 3 months after I launched that business, I was at $30,000 a month for 18 months later.
Wow.
that changed my whole life.
Was that your first success as being an entrepreneur?
That was my first big success.
Okay.
So I had success in high school.
What did you do in high school?
I was the only one selling things. And actually, the first time I sold something when I was 6 years old, I sold something for a penny because that's how my brain worked. I've always had entrepreneur DNA inside of me because my grandparents came from
I just
Germany.
want to warn real quick. If you are an entrepreneur, please don't sell things for a penny. I'm just going to
Yeah.
tell you.
That was when I was
listen,
6.
You can listen to a lot of stuff, but the penny thing.
Don't forget that one.
Okay.
It was an early
So
success.
this is important because I love to dissect things. So
Let's dissect.
Your grandparents, what they come from Greece?
So my mom's side's all German. My dad's side's all Greek.
Who are the entrepreneur grandparents?
Both. So
Okay.
my parents, my mom and my dad, when they met at University of New Orleans in their 20s, they got sucked into the mindset of get a college degree, go get a job,
Yep.
and then work for 30, 40, 50 years.
How did they
of
get
your
that
life.
mindset with the parents they had?
I still have not figured that one out because both of their parents, from my grandparents, they thought they were entrepreneurs, very successful at it, but they thought my kids are going to do better when they go get college degrees and they go get jobs. They're
So
gonna be
did the
more
grandparents
successful
push
than
it?
me. Yeah.
Okay.
Because they
So-
were influenced by society
Got it.
and they didn't realize what they were even doing.
Did your parents encourage you to be an entrepreneur?
No.
They didn't encourage you. They told you
No.
to go to school, get good grades, be a
Right.
good person.
Because that's what they did.
That's what they did. And I want to really, really like think back.
Right.
When did you really become an entrepreneur?
Oh, full on 100% when I was 23. I dropped out of school my senior year of college.
Okay.
Went all in. That was exactly 5 years ago.
Who was the person that introduced you to that? Because I could tell you to this day.
Adam Lyons.
It was Adam?
So he wasn't the one that introduced it to me. I went to a social dynamics training. I spent $2,500 of money I did not have. I went and influenced the bank.
You had access to it, but you didn't. This is
Yeah,
the big
I
thing. You
didn't
had
know how
access
to-
to it, but you
yeah.
didn't have access to paying it back.
Right, exactly.
Okay.
And I went to this event. It was $2,500. It was me, 3 other people, and one guy, and he taught social dynamics on how to basically influence your way into any social network on the planet.
Have you read Third Door?
I haven't.
You'd love the book.
I'm sure there's way more that I don't know.
It's just the concept of like there's the 3 doors in life, and the reason I'm bringing this up is it excites you. It's a simple book, and it's basically about the 3 doors in life, and one door is the main door, number 2 is the VIP line, which is way better.
You've talked about this
Third door
before.
is knocking on the kitchen door and the cook letting you in and having a connection with someone in the back, and like learning how to get into social settings through the back door. How do you immediately? The guy's incredible. How he got hold of Tim Ferriss through an email. How he wound up helping Lady Gaga on her tour. Do you know what I'm saying? Like all this crazy
Got it.
stuff.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
you'd be excited
That's
about that.
the ninja
It
stuff
sounds
that
like
moves
what
the
you.
needle.
So you go to that social dynamics event, but that didn't scream entrepreneur, did it?
It did because it was 3 days long, and the way he set it up, I mean, it was genius because on the third day he brings in these 2 people. He interviews them on the third day, and here I was a senior at college at this time. I was still a senior. I'm learning from this guy who's 31. He makes multiple 7 figures. Here's this kid, 26 years old, making $2 to $3 million a year from his laptop. And then here's Adams, also in 7 figures, multiple 7 figures. That sparked it because all 3 of them, they all talked about business. Yes, they had relationships. They were teaching me about social dynamics and relationships. However, they all fueled it through a business. So I made the most craziest decision I ever made. And looking back exactly 5 years ago, January of 2015, it was the smartest decision for me at the time. Went home, dropped out of school.
How'd your parents
Best
respond?
decision.
How'd your parents respond?
Mom didn't want to talk to me for a week. And I have
Only a week?
Okay, let me put context to that. I am very close with my mom, extremely close. We do not go like 2-3 days without talking to each other. That was very hard for us. And we, for a whole month, because there was wiring in our bodies, in our nervous system, we were breaking apart in a different way. And it was good because we grew through that, my mom and I. And through that, she saw because I got immediately to work, immediately. I mean, I went 10 to 12 hours a day behind my laptop, reading books.
What drove you to
researching.
do that? Because that's the part I want to understand.
It was that third day when I met Adam, Jason, and learning that thing over 3 days.
What was it? So I remember
It
what
was
I was
the
driven to
freedom.
do. I remember I was
It
driven
was
to
the
work.
freedom that they had built.
Okay.
And I saw that they had choice. They could make decisions for themselves. And that was empowering because when I was 23 and I was a senior in college, I'm trying to figure out what I want to do for the rest of my life, which looking back was a horrible mindset to have, but that was the one that society put
Why is
onto
it
me.
bad to say, what am I going to do for the rest of my life? What is that?
Because-
Let's just
Good
talk
question.
about this.
I
I'm
love
going to really
this.
slow it down for 2 seconds. You got people here with kids your age or people that
Right.
don't even want to leave the house. Does that
Right.
make sense?
I know, that's-
and there's
I can
your
relate
whole
to
you
that.
got a big generation of people don't want to work. What's the challenge with asking somebody what do they want to do for the rest of their life? Not like if you were to answer that for your collective, not just for Anton.
Right.
What's the challenge with that question? Because it's a natural question for people to ask.
Because looking back now, 5 years later, I've gone through so many different phases and so many different changes, different business models that I've launched, different relationships that I've built. And I see that back then when I was 23, I'm like, I'm going to make one decision and date this person and possibly get married to this person. And that's it, without tasting the rainbow and actually giving, 100 different women a chance to date and to get to know them and to see, maybe I don't want to spend the rest of my life with this one person. Maybe I don't want to spend the rest of my life on this one career path.
So what would be a better question to ask?
If
I could ask you a better question that would annoy you so much.
Great question. It would be, let me taste the rainbow. Let me try different.
It's like a Lucky Charms cereal. So what does that
Yeah.
mean?
Oh yeah. You got to taste all the Lucky Charms. You got to
Okay.
like this one and this.
But
this rainbow.
let's play this out. So what the challenge with that is then you got everybody's running and doing a little everything. What I mean by the question is it better to say like, what do you want to do in the next stage of your life? Look at life as stages instead of the rest of your life. Because
Exactly.
So is it
That's
stages?
that's good clarity.
Because the problem is I want to taste everything. You'll be 55 years old. You're still taking 85 more classes at school,
Right.
going to every seminar in the world.
Yes,
You're still
that's
single
true.
and miserable.
That's true.
So
That's true.
the question is it, what do you have planned for the next stage of your life? Have you thought about the next stage of your life?
Well, what worked for me?
I'm just saying, walking up to a 24-year-old kid
Right.
that just graduated from school or didn't go to school and isn't sure what to do with themselves. They're working a Jack in the Box. And you need to shake them because they're never going to make anything with their
Right.
$13,
You have to shake
$13
their brain.
$12 an hour. Have you thought about your future is big?
Right.
What do you want to do for the rest of your life is too far. 'Cause-
It's horrible way to think about things.
So give me the alternative.
For me, try something new. For instance, I went right to work and I said, all right, I'm going to try this one business. And
what was the business?
It was fixing cell phones.
Okay.
And I went out to
With
Florida.
a screwdriver?
With a screwdriver, small one.
You were
Very
fixing
small.
You were fixing
Yeah.
cell phones?
So what I did was I went to YouTube and I learned how to fix iPhones.
The screens that break?
Yep.
Oh, you were
And
that guy.
I
Putting that in
was.
Christ, there's so much money in that.
There's a lot of money
This
in
guy was
that.
making $120,000 a year. He was telling me just himself.
Yes.
Literally going out.
Yeah.
Someone's got a
You
problem.
can make a six-figure income.
This guy's
fixing
got
fucking cell
got a
phones.
problem, and it was crazy. Was the newer the
still very
phone,
lucrative
the newer
industry.
the phone, the more expensive. You don't have to
Right.
warranty your work.
Yep.
People don't want to go to the kiosk at the mall. People would drive to the house. This guy was doing like 10 a day.
Yeah.
And it was a referral thing because everybody knows somebody with a cracked phone.
And they can make $50 to $60 to $70 in profit per phone.
So you were
stack 'em
buying
up.
product from Apple.
I actually went to Alibaba.
Okay.
Went
You're
to
buying the
Alibaba.
fake stuff.
What's
You're
that?
buying the fake stuff.
Alibaba has you have well.
Careful how
you
you
have to
say
do
it.
research.
Alibaba doesn't have because we are on iTunes
Yeah, okay.
right now.
Yeah, got it.
And we are find us on the Apple podcast.
We may
just
need
so we
to-
know we want to stay. So before we get thrown off, click the subscribe button and give us a review. So before we get thrown off the podcast, I want to make certain we do
Okay,
that.
so I
Average
went-
Suck Show. If you're watching on YouTube, you can click and subscribe as well. But on a serious note, thank you. No problems with YouTube. So you went to Alibaba. This is cool.
Okay, all
You
right.
got. Let's just get
I
real.
did
There's-
research. I did research. I learned it all from YouTube for free.
Okay, but they're better than other people's. But you didn't get Apple's real product, did you?
No.
That's okay. You pretended.
I pretended.
And they came in an Apple box?
No, it did not.
Okay.
But I
How did you answer the question when someone said, is that a genuine product? Because they asked, I wanted you to say absolutely verbatim what you said.
I went through research. I found
No.
10 different-
Somebody that said to you, Anton, is this a genuine product? What was the answer you gave them?
It was I can't remember.
No, what did you say? This may or may
I'm
not
really
make the
trying to
podcast.
remember. I will remember.
Because they said that. Because you ran into my dad. You ran into an engineer, somebody that knew better. What did you say?
It was OEM parts, original manufacturer. I can't remember the word. I can't remember what it was. But this was original manufacturing thing. And I found that out because that was the marketing on Alibaba.
Okay.
So they helped me out with my marketing.
Okay. So you fixed people's phones and you made some money doing that, right?
Yes.
And then phase 2. So what made you get out of that? Because I want to figure this out, because you talked about cycles and phases. So you do that for a little while, and this is not about perfection, because if you found the first business was perfect right off the bat, nobody their first
no
mine
no
was
it wasn't.
My first thing I ever did was phone cards. First business I ever did, landscaping business I owned, but then I literally did, this guy got me involved with phone cards back in the day. It's a crazy story. So this guy, I believe his name was either Tim or Matt. I'll have to go look this up later. Last name was Woods. He got me involved with telephone cards. He met me at the fraternity house in college, and he got me selling phone cards through a network marketing.
That's the best way to
thing.
go when you're young, too.
Yeah, phone cards.
Go to the fraternity place.
No, phone cards. You don't even if you know what they are. There was a card you would dial like 80 numbers. You would dial 1-800-765-4321, code 876-541-2335.
You have to speak millennials with me, man.
You had to dial a bunch of numbers, and then you put the phone number in, right? And we would sell these things for $500. Well, he did it for a couple of months. I made about $500, and I'm like, it didn't really work out for me. Well, a few years later, I went to contact this guy and figure out what he was up to. Ryan, his name is Ryan Woods. And I went to contact him a few years later, and I called ASU because he played football for ASU. And they're like, oh, he's working on this little company in Maryland right now. You should give him a call over there. And I remember reaching out, calling or emailing him. And he started a company. I never heard of it at the time. And he says, oh, you should take a look at this company. You may want to invest in the future. It's called Under Armour. And I didn't think anything of it because I thought my business was amazing.
Oh, no, that won't work.
Yeah, that won't work. And now Under Armour's Under Armour. But it's amazing. Like, here I am surrounded by the Under Armour guy, literally selling phone cards back in the day. So you never know who that person would turn into. Yes. So that guy, I looked him up online later. He sold a house in Colorado for like $11 million about 8 years ago. So the guy with the phone card. So that was my first thing. And like, your first venture may not do anything, but
it won't.
So here's my question.
Or it will.
What did you learn from that first venture? Like the 3 skill sets you got from how long did you do the phone business?
I did the phone business for 9 months.
Okay. 3 skills that you learned from that you still have today in your life and your heart that are part of who you are. Like Maya learning how to ride a bike will never go away from you.
I didn't believe I could pull it off. So the
3 skills.
The 3 skills was I could use my creativity in the internet to figure anything out. So that was a skill set. Then communication skills through talking to customers and seeing what they wanted so that I could tailor my service, my product to what they wanted.
Got it.
And then the 3rd skill, I would say the ability to use the internet to build a business out of thin air and make it happen within a few weeks or months. Like,
very millennials have you kind of grew up with the internet.
It's so fast.
What was your first email account? First email address?
Yahoo.
You had Yahoo?
Yeah.
Remember what it was?
Yeah, I still have it.
Okay. I my first email account, I went to college. I didn't have an email until I went to college. Like, you have to understand, 1995, I went to college. I had my first email account ever. And it was nuts. If you think about that, like,
I've heard the stories of like my mom and my uncle who's really successful in LA.
We didn't know how to use it.
It was brand new.
Yeah. Well, I remember we had the internet back in the day. We would look at, my friend Eric Weisselt, he had a modem, which literally was a phone hooked up to the computer, and we would look up stuff. Do you know what I'm saying? It was like a little dictionary online, but that was it. Like, I grew up, I had a computer since '83, but I never thought about it like you did. Like, this could be the way that we have the ability to make money and make things happen. So you transition out of that. How'd you quit that?
I quit that because of email promotions.
Because iPhones went out of business.
No, they kept going. And to answer for everyone listening right now, to answer what you were saying too, tasting the rainbow, when I said that, it was trying something. And I knew even if I didn't like this, to do this long term, I would learn a shitload of life skills and business skills from that I could apply to future businesses.
Got it.
So I knew, starting with the beginning in mind, I knew getting into that, I would not do this forever. I knew that, which was very contrary to the mindset that everyone around me was saying, well, cell phones aren't going to be around forever, so you don't know if you're going to be doing that forever.
How do you stay motivated if you know you're not going to do something long term?
Know that you are going to take and learn new things from this that you can apply and use for the rest of your life.
Okay.
That was very beneficial for me. And I had a lot of pressure from family members in society telling me, yeah, but the phones are going to be, and that negativity of, phones are not going to be here forever, so you're not going to be able to do that.
Is this what you were doing when we met?
No. I was trying to figure out how to build a business on the internet.
Okay. So the first step is use the internet to do something offline.
Right.
Now, then you were looking to figure it out when you met me.
Online, yes.
But that little business helped you fund working with us.
Exactly, it did, 100%.
Okay, so all those doing little things helped you, come up with a
it built
$5,000 so you could work with us.
Yeah, it's very simple. I learned from YouTube how to fix these phones. Went in, just built off of a few phones. Then also through affiliate promotions from the guys who I'd met, like Adam, Jason, and Chin, when I was hanging out with them live in person, they kept doing affiliate promotions, and they had talked about how they built their businesses through digital marketing and internet marketing. So about 6 months into the cell phone repair business, I got promotions about Jason's. He was teaching, how to build a business online.
Okay.
And so I went deep into that and started buying all these products online, and had no clue what I was getting myself into. And then a few months after I started that, that's when Adam did the promotion with you.
Got it.
That's when I got onto call to action.
And what's interesting is we target a very specific group of people that are not where they want to be in their life. We target people that believe, again, average sucks, that there is a capability inside of them that is greater.
It's a whole nother level, always.
So we were looking for you.
Right.
So this is a marketing lesson. It's like message, market, match.
100%.
And we had the match down. It's like we put out a message.
Dialed it in.
So when you say earlier in this, must have been something I said, I'm looking for someone who not struggling, because typically our people aren't struggling, but they're struggling with a thing.
At this point, I was struggling.
You were physically struggling right now, but the majority of the people we work with, they're not exactly struggling in life. They're struggling with something.
Right.
Meaning, how do I figure this one thing out? And you weren't struggling in life. You were struggling with a thing.
You're correct.
It feels like it's all consuming. And I felt you felt all consumed. You might want to mentally take this one down in your head. It felt like if you look back at that, you may want to rewire that inside of your brain. You weren't actually struggling back then. You have a great relationship with your mom. You're smart enough. You could figure it out. You could have got a job anywhere you wanted. You were struggling with a specific thing. And it's hard for people on the outside to see. It's also hard for us to think about on the inside, is that you were struggling with the most important thing. It's like you got an issue with your child, or you got an issue with your relationship. You think it's everything. You think the whole world, you think that the price of apples has changed. You think that all the milk's went rotten in the world, and you think that everyone's dying. But really, it's that one thing going on. So when we met, you had a challenge. And that's really what I believe step one for people is accept you're not where it is that you want to be. So
Correct.
We meet, Adam does the promo, we meet, start working on communication and stuff. You have done what, about a half dozen other businesses since then?
Oh yeah. Well, because I
don't need the history of everything.
Yeah,
it's just if we can encapsulate it, because I
it's
want to
been-
get
it's
into
been
freedom and what's going on today.
It's probably been half a dozen to a dozen.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you were to be blatantly honest with yourself and everyone, how many overall successes versus failures?
Oh, way more failures than successes.
In years, like if you were to look at his years, successful years, failure years, and what do you rate that as?
Out of 5 years, I've had 3 years of failure.
Okay.
Well,
How do you define failure?
That's a good question.
That's why I asked
because
it.
I've learned way more from what people would quote unquote label setbacks or failures. I've learned way more from that. Way more.
In the moment or afterwards?
Both.
Okay.
But afterwards, way more.
I don't think anybody wants the failure.
No,
'Cause
I didn't want it.
Yeah.
No, it's painful. Like psychologically, mentally, physically painful. I burnt out about a year ago. I was extremely burnt out. And that was because I would the current habits, the current identity that I was working on at that time, not right now when I say current at that time, was not, it didn't mesh well with what I was trying to accomplish and what I was trying to pull off. Because, after I went to core, after I went to HIT, I had my first big success. 18 months later, I switched what I was doing, and I wanted to take on a huge mountain. I had built this funnel on Facebook. I had my front end super dialed in I had amazing conversion rates on my front end, but on my back end, I had everything was burning, and that's where all the profits made.
You know what I learned about people that have front end, back end issues? This is fascinating. Is if your back end works good, you're probably good at relationships and you're good with people. If you're good at the front end, you're good at the first date. And you're good at meeting people, but you don't
That's
know how to
a
make a
great way to put
relationship
it.
work. And it's the truth. And I've noticed it throughout. It's like you're not willing to show people who you really are, because that's the back end. That's the long form relationship. And that's fascinating. You're bringing that up. And that's a maturity thing that
really
people
glad
need to,
that we're talking about
people
this right
need to
now.
bring up, is like, if you look at a lot of the guys out there and people marketing on the web, is that they're putting out really good. They got really sexy first date. They got like really sexy first date.
Lambos,
come
jets.
out, buy my product. But what's behind the scenes isn't very much.
Right.
And the reason is if you look at the way
all.
they do relationships, they're really good at the first date. They're really good at the show. They're out of content after 3 hours.
Right.
And I don't mean staged content. I mean literally in a conversation. They can't do day 2, day 3 with you. So like totally cool with a coffee shop or a drink or something like that. And then if you're like, hey, let's be buddies and spend the week in camping somewhere. I don't camp, but let's just say you spend a week camping. I think that's what people do is they go camping or something. And you got to spend 3 days talking. They don't have that. So I'm not saying it's completely accurate, but it's one of those things people need to recognize is that people with a strong back end product, that was our thing for years. We were really good at the back end. We never really figured out the front end because I never liked the idea of the flash in the pan and the excitement tools that get people how to scoop people up quick because I look at that as a short-term relationship and I never wanted to build business that way. So
you're not helping anyone.
You don't get any momentum.
Right.
That's the big thing is developing momentum in what it is that is we do because that's so. When did you feel like you had the most success? What were you working on? What was the longest stint you had?
The longest stint I had was back in the middle of 16 all the way into in the beginning of 18. That right there, I was very focused on truly helping the people that were around me. And when I started getting momentum and going up, everyone came around me and I didn't know how to sift through that, so I let anyone in. Because now I got to a new stage where I never had success like this. Now everyone wants to be your friend. You don't know who's your friend, who's not. You don't know who's a good business partner, who's not. And within a year, it went to shit. After it really started going up, it went to shit because the true colors of even the people that helped me get there came out. And it all broke apart.
The true colors out, or you could see them, and that's the big part most people don't realize. The true colors came out, or you could actually see them.
I could actually see them.
See, if you remember back, that little boy that was enamored back in the day. And remind me in a bit, I'm going to share the momentum thing with everybody. I guess it's cool to share with everybody. But the little boy, and I'm going to put her there, little boy, the 23-year-old boy that went to the seminar that was enamored by the guy and the girls and the this and that. I promise you, if I put you in that setting today, it probably wouldn't excite you that much. But we have different lenses at different times in our lives. So when we're in pain, we see things that are super exciting. And most people set their goals and their desires in their life, I found, by they're in a bad spot. You're in a spot where you don't want to be in and you want to change it. So here you are, not where you want to be relationship-wise, just out of school, don't know what to do, have no mentor. 3 dudes show up at an event. Could have been any 3 dudes. Scooby-Doo, Shaggy, and Velma could have showed up, and it wouldn't have mattered, and you would have joined the mystery van.
Let's go.
Okay? It wouldn't have mattered what it was. So momentum, just to give the keynote for this, because we got a little training we wanted to give everybody, is that if you want to build momentum in your life quickly, if you want to get to the point where you're doing things for a long period of time, I want to give you a little text in. It's 480, I'll put it on the screen as well, 800-8051, 480-800-8051. Just text in the word momentum, and then you'll get a little thing back. Let us know where to send it. We got a really, really cool training I want to make sure to get you. It's a 30-minute video that I did on how to literally create momentum in your life. You can send it when you get, I know you were like looking for your phone right now, you want to send it, but it's 480-800-8051. Text in momentum, because whether you're in business or want to get ahead in anything in life, it's amazing strategy. Very, very simple to use. Back on this for a second. So
I'm glad you brought up momentum though.
Yeah,
because
it's a big word. And that's what I want. I didn't know it was going to come up today, but it just reminded me how to training and like how to get it to people.
And here now, I'm glad you're talking about this, because when I went back to igniting momentum, that's what's allowed me now to sustain it long term and forever. No matter what situation I get into, now I know how to sustain that momentum, because I built momentum years ago, lost it, burnt out, and then I learned through new habits and new skill sets on how to use the right habits at the right time and how to implement those and take out old ones, which I didn't know how to do. Which that's what I picked up at my 3rd and 4th and 5th HIT, because when you go through different levels, you have to level up and you have to do new things.
These people, like some of them are like, what is he talking about? KGB, HIT, it's human interaction technology. It's one of our classes. Watch the podcast, send a text.
You'll get it.
You'll get it. You'll get it. I got a couple questions for you that I think would be really helpful. You want to help people, correct?
Right.
Let's help some people right now.
Let's do it.
So there are people watching this with, again, kids your age. There's people watching this that are your age. There's people watching this that are younger than you right now. What do you recommend to the wannabe, because they still want to be, not wannabe, like poser, wannabe, tool, whatever is back in the day, whatever words your words are. Not wannabe, like want to be, I want to be an entrepreneur,
Right.
but I don't know what to do or where to get started.
First
What
step.
would you say if we
I already
sat
know
down
first
with
step.
we sit down with a group of like 18, 22,
Love that group.
31, 17, a 16-year-old wise ass. We sit down here. What do we tell them?
The best group to say this to. Get into the environment. Step 1, figure it out, find out you can do it. Get into the environments. It's very simple. Get into the environments of other successful people that are moving in, literally shaking and creating a new world.
Sounds good. So back when I was a kid, step 1 was go take one of those people to lunch. Totally get it. That was what we said back in the day. How do you do that? I mean, literally, because I learned something about millennials, and I'm just going to tell you, you don't like 9 steps. You want to know 1 step. Does that make sense? I give you 9, you get lost. Does that make sense?
Use the internet.
I get it. No, but seriously,
Okay.
how do we? Okay, so what do we do? Like, where do we go? Like, what? I know what to do.
Yeah.
I know. I have those networks. It's my cell phone. My cell
Right,
phone
I
is
know.
full of millionaires and billionaires
Yeah.
and wealthy and successful people, and I can get on Oprah through my phone. But my question is, what do they do?
Yes. I'll give you an example. Let's say you want to go into real estate. Go online, search up the real estate people in your city, research them, see where they are. If they're online in your city, then they are spending time in certain environments. Learn where are they hanging out, where are they spending time, where are they doing business. This is if you're going into real estate or you want to try real estate. Yeah, I want to try this for 2-3 years. Go test it out. It doesn't need to be something you're to do for the rest of your life, but that's what I was saying when Taste the Rainbow. Try it out.
Stage.
Spend 12, 24, 36 months in it and meet those people that are in that industry in your local community.
Okay.
They're all there.
Next question.
Okay.
So let's say I said that. Now I'm going to speak for a generation, and I'm not going to be, and they're not for everyone, but for a generation. They want the person to come to them. Because you understand, there's people like, that's great. That guy should be calling me. They should be paying me. Now, I can't be the only one interpreting this. Right? Okay?
I know exactly what you mean.
Okay, but like, I don't get it. Why isn't Spielberg calling me to be in a movie? Doesn't he know I have an iPhone?
We have to realize that we are not walking on water like we always believe we do.
Okay.
You know, when I was 23, first starting out, I realized, man, I don't know shit. And
So is that the first step, except you don't know anything?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's great because then your mind's opened up to then get creative.
Is it you don't know anything, or you got an open vessel to learn?
You have a very open vessel to learn.
Okay, so find people that can do it, except that they're not going to come to you.
Right.
You've got to go to them.
Okay.
Okay, what else would you recommend?
Go to them. Work for them for free.
Okay. Well, funny, you live at home, mom, anyway, so what does it matter? Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Like
Okay.
take advantage of the time.
So how would you say that to me? Let's say you wanted to work for free for me. What would you say? What would be the script? We're going to script this right now. What would you say? I'm sitting there. You found my cell phone number. You met me. You ran into me at a networking event. How do you not sound like a crazy stalker, strange, weird psychopath?
I'm really impressed by what you have done with your life and your business. It's amazing what you do. I really love that. And what could I do right now for you for free to work for you to learn and to help your business take off anything that is burdening you? What is a pain in the ass to you that you would love to take off and let me learn that would help my growth and help your company build? And how can we build this long term?
Have you ever said that before?
No.
That was so amazing.
Genius.
That was genius. So
Because you asked a good question.
Well, that's what we do around here. We ask good questions. Everything's about communication. Everything comes down to the communication. So if a young person or any person asked that question, my response would be, A, what does this person want? And I may ask you back, what are you looking to get out of it? And what would you say?
I want to learn how to do what you do, but I want to help you first because I don't know shit and you know way more than me.
I'm pretty sure anybody that said that to them would at least open the door. And even if you had to say it to 3 to 5 people, that's enormous. I mean, that's old school mentorship. With the blacksmith back in the day, you'd be my apprentice,
Right?
Or vice versa. And and it's interesting is that's what we teach in our programs. Like, I have a natural skill of communication, and I would like to have apprentices, like people underneath me, to train the next person. What's that?
Patience has to come into this.
Okay.
Patience.
Okay. Well, how do
'Cause
you
it's
create
gonna
patience and not a microwave society? Because microwaves are slower than the internet.
It's
not a
fucked.
I had a microwave society.
Oh my God.
You have
I've had
an internet society. You have a
I
Wi-Fi
had to
society.
I had to outgrow my what did you label it? I love how you just labeled it. Mike, you said
I was microwave society. That's what we grew up in. I was in a society where when we were kids, macaroni and cheese used to take 45 minutes to an hour to make from scratch. Then eventually they made it in the oven. Stouffer's made something you put in the oven. It was a big night. My
few
mom,
minutes.
no, not a few minutes, an hour. My mom was at a meeting that night randomly. My dad, it's that night. We're gonna have mac and cheese. It went in the oven. You got metal thing on top of it. Put in the oven an hour. It's like, oh my God, TV. We got the TV dinner trays, and then microwave.
I want to go eat mac
The killing
and cheese
machine.
right
The
now.
microwave would come out. We didn't even have a microwave in our house. Do you know what I'm saying? Because I don't even know what it does to you. Microwaves. Just think about it. Microwaves. I don't want that to even go near my food. But we got the microwave in the house, right? And so everyone's like standing like I'm like, oh my God, 5 minutes for the same thing that took an hour. Context. A child in the late 80s, early 90s would tap on the door. Is it going to come quicker? Now you're pissed off your Starbucks took a minute.
Right. Yeah, it's crazy.
So like, what the hell's wrong with you? Why did it take a minute? How do you develop patience? Because you weren't born with it.
Yeah, that one was very difficult for me because I even when I had success in my business and I wanted to grow 10 times what I was, I didn't even realize how dangerous that was, and it destroyed my health.
Lack of patience?
Lack of so much patience. Like, I was like, oh, dude, I'm going to come out swinging. I'm going to smash this. I'm going to go 10X in fucking 60 days. After I had already built success and had patience building that first business that got me to 20 and 30,000 a month.
Why do you think you lacked patience?
Because it was very deep wired in my conditioning and in my nervous system, in my identity from a very young age of everything being given to me, which isn't a bad thing. However, it had conditioned my body to believe that's how things happen. That's how it goes. And a lot of the stories that are out on the internet to sell products and services are about a quick fix. That is...
Well, it's easy to market to yourself a quick fix.
It's very simple.
Yep.
And people buy into that quickly. So how I developed patience, even through my evolution of having success and then just realizing if I want to go, and do $500,000 in a month and I'm only doing 20 grand a month, that's a massive jump. But at the time I was like, oh no, we can do that in 60 days. Where I developed patience was realizing, wow, all these people that I'm learning from, all these mentors, all these people that I've read all these books on and spent all this time learning from, they talked about how it took decades. So how did they do that? So then you start breaking down habits. And not only that, what helped me to really change the conditioning in my body was through simple meditation and spending 30 minutes, sometimes even an hour a day, because I realized I have got to slow my mind down to actually speed it up.
Could you show me how you do that?
Right now?
Yeah.
You just close your eyes and go there.
Do it.
That's it. Simple.
What is this sheer fact of closing your eyes? I know what it does. But what does it do for you?
So when you sit there, because right now in society, we're so hardwired by marketing and we're on our phones 24/7, 365 almost. And we're always in front of the computer, always in front of the TV. Condition. You are in this fast-paced move. When you go and you just lay down, sit there for 30 minutes to an hour, close your eyes, you have no sound stimulation, you have no visual stimulation, you have none of that, and you're able to sit there and do nothing. At first, your mind is going to race uncontrollably because it's used to the psychological conditioning and the physical conditioning of sitting there and always moving.
So do you think that the slowing down makes your body work more effectively and then you get more done and you're more focused because it isn't focused on
100%.
as much? Or do you think it's the actual meditation that's doing it? Because I think if you turn everything off, if you turn everything off, there's less energy being used.
Right.
Like literally, if I turn off all the lights in my house, there's less energy being used.
Right.
My body doesn't have to think as much, when I turn off everything.
Right.
So when you turn everything off, you have more energy.
Right.
So okay, so this is good, and I want to.
This is huge.
Get to this concept. So I get it. You helped the youngsters. We helped you. What are you after today, right now? Like, what is Anton after currently in his life right now?
Yes, I am right now. Most of my thought goes into health, and I'm
your health currently.
Yeah.
Or everyone else's?
Mine.
Okay.
Because I want to help myself first.
Okay.
And that's really what is going through my mind all the time, because now I've realized, which I did not even get a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, and I had to learn this, unfortunately, through very a massive amounts of pain in my brain and body, which I didn't need to go there, but I didn't know what I didn't know, And for me, it's like when I get my health down, when I implement more daily the things that I need to do for my health and learning how to do things differently that I haven't done before for my health, I know my business will work. My relationships will work even better because I'm taking care of me. And I've liked the focus and the shift that you've made with your company and your business is not only communication, but internal communication with yourself. It's so important. And that's why I continue to come back and I pick up more and more and more as I go, because that internal communication is like, fuck, man, it's the 80%, it's the 20% that does the 80%.
Yep.
It's fucking massive. And we can do everything we want externally, and that's like these small little shifts. But the internal shifts that you can do internally through communicating with yourself better, and this takes time, energy, and work. Like you have to put and consciously put
Give
that
everyone an
work
example of this, because I get it.
Yeah.
I mean, I do this 24/7, 7 days a week. I'm always reframing in my brain.
Right.
I spoke the other day for a group of people. I'm like, I'm reframing 24/7. I'm reframe everything to make it be what I want it to be. Give an example with a short period of time we have left. Give us an example of your how you actually use the internal communication with yourself, like a very specific. Last Tuesday at 3:00, I did what? Go ahead.
Well, I'll give you a month ago at HIT.
No, it has to be last Tuesday at 3:00. No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead. A month ago at HIT.
I made one decision, and I realized that through Spence, the one time or the two times that I worked with him, my spine and my nervous system became way more relaxed, and I was able to be more focused in my business and the people around me, and I was able to be happier. So I made one decision where I said, okay, I am going to move to Scottsdale for a month in January of 2020. And now I'm here for a month, and I've only had 2 more sessions with him, and I'm way more energized just within the last few days. For the past 2 days, right now, for the past 48 hours, when I woke up for the first time in 6 years, I had no pain in my body. None. Like zero. That has not happened in 6 years, and I'm only
amazing.
28. Off of 2 sessions.
What drugs are you on?
Zero. The good, healthy drugs.
Yeah, I got it.
Which is
I just want to sound
learning how to
like
use
that
your
person.
brain.
Yeah.
So, and what I did was I just took a second to sit there and write down, man, that thing worked with Spence. Let me go do that again. And then I made the decision, and I moved my girlfriend out here. We have 2 cats. They're in with us. So that helped, and it was taking a second to write that down and to shift that. Now, there's a lot of things that go into shifting that, right? You have to, okay, where am I going to be for a month in this new place? And that's the level of commitment that I have to myself through my own internal communication, is saying, when I go do this, I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to do it. And I made the commitment to move for a month. I literally packed everything up in San Diego, put it into a storage unit to come out here
for your
a
health.
month. Yeah, for my health, which is the most important thing.
So what's your next move after this?
So after this, we haven't 100% figured out where we're going to go from here as far as physical location, my girlfriend and I.
Okay, good.
But we have multiple options because we have businesses on the internet. So we're able
What are
to.
the 2 biggest businesses you're doing?
Well, she has her YouTube channel, and then I have right now I work in financial solutions.
Okay.
So I provide financial solutions to people, and all we do is shift a few things, and it makes life way easier.
That's fantastic.
And it's very simple. And I'm also building a recruiting platform because I've been recruiting 1-to-1 over the phone, with a very high conversion rate. And now it's like, okay, now I need to go build the online system for it. And my business partner, Rich Cook, and I are doing that right now. And it's one of the most exciting things right now for me, because I realized through taking better care of my health over the past year has led to so much clear focus in this that I wouldn't even had that clarity and focus to build this business and make it go without the internal communication and which led to me saying I need to take better care of my health and taking daily steps towards that over the past year and continuing to take more steps towards that. So I'm like, literally, because I took that time to communicate with myself and realize, okay, I need to shift things, make better decisions for my health, do this, my business is going to work. It's going to work way better.
So let me ask you the question you don't want to have me ask.
Ask
that
it.
You didn't like before. What do you want to do with the rest of your life?
I can't even answer that because I know I'm going to go through many phases.
Well, then why don't you say that? I think maybe you didn't understand the question when someone first asked you. It didn't have to be one thing. You might have thought it had to be one thing. So what you want to do is you want to go through many stages to find out exactly who it is that you are.
You have to go through them.
So really, when someone asks the question, what do you want to do for the rest of your life? You could say, what I want to do is spend the rest of my life finding out exactly who I am and what I'm capable of being.
At that
and
moment.
I want to make certain that by the time I'm done, I've done everything I was here supposed to do. And really had total realization of myself. And that's really what you meant years ago when someone asked you that question. You just didn't have the answer to the question.
Right.
So it isn't about necessarily tasting
years
the
to get
rainbow,
to that.
but really what it is you have the ability, your desire is to be as much Anton as possible. And who you are right now is I'm going to do different things. As long as you're being responsible and getting things done, that's enormous.
Yeah.
That's really the key to getting where you want to go. So if you had a very simplistic piece of advice on this whole communication thing and working on it, what would you say to somebody about the importance of working on communication as we close down?
Find out who is a master at communication and learn from them.
Okay.
And do whatever it takes to get into that environment and learn from that person as soon as possible. Because for me, when I was 23, I made the commitment to do what everyone thought I was insane to do. And when I made that decision to leave college, I'm not telling everyone to leave school. Some people need to go there and want to go there. That's good. But for me, what the path that I was on, I needed to make that decision. And I committed to myself to learning and mastering communication because I grew up not really good at it. No one ever taught me. I didn't realize that's what I needed. And then so when I went into
I don't think anybody realizes it.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I would say it's the most underdeveloped and underutilized strategy we have as human beings to get what it is.
Okay, I did not say this, but I want to say this right now. It is one of the most valuable skill sets on the planet.
We made a post the other day.
It's so important.
You want to know the ultimate life hack? Communication.
Communication.
That's it. It's the simplest thing. Everything you want in this world. That's why we have a company
through
called the
communication.
Human Communications Institute. We have signs
Right.
all over the building. Your future hinges on your ability to effectively communicate. We have the, accept the power of your own influence. Everything comes down to communication and influence. And I just applaud you that I look at your map of it is like, obviously your family communicated well enough with you that you built a great relationship with your mom. Does that make sense? Your
Right.
grandparents did well dealing with entrepreneurship. Do you know what I'm saying? You communicated well enough with yourself to get yourself into the event to meet those three people, to shift your life. You communicated well enough to make that first business work and hustle and talk to Alibaba. And you've been using this all along. So you're using it to get where it is that you want to go,
True.
which is really, really paramount to making everything happen. So I love this. There are nuggets galore. I don't know how this gets all stripped out and turned into, but there is like anybody watching this for themselves, for there's someone they know, love, and care about, an entrepreneur. This is like literally if we were to tag this, it would be entrepreneur, go get what you want, take care of your health first, how to help a young person see the next step, the magic question to ask, and magic answer. And I think the magic answer is like when someone says, what do you want to do with the rest of your life? You say,
Just do it.
yeah, just do it. And that's really the key to everything. So appreciate it, my man.
Yep. Thank you
That
so
was
much.
fantastic.
Oh,
I
yeah.
loved it. Appreciate you being here today, watching the Average Sucks Show. And Anton, awesome stuff as always.
Thank you for
Appreciate
having
it.
me.
And massive, massive value. Definitely a show you definitely want to share with other people. If you're watching this on YouTube, make certain to subscribe. And also, if you're watching this on iTunes or listening on iTunes, actually, click the subscribe button and make sure to leave us a review on let us know how we can help you best. And immediately afterwards, if you're watching this, we have a training that we'd love to share with you. I mentioned earlier on how to really elevate your life and create more momentum in your life to get what it is you want. On the page, the little opt-in box, you put the little email in, let us know where to send the training. If you're listening to this, just continue listening and you'll get the training immediately. So I'm excited to work with you and I'm excited to help you get where you want to go. Tune in on the next show and check out the Average Sucks community on Facebook. If you've not checked it out, check it out because we want to work together with you to help you get what you want. I don't know if you've been on there recently, but it's pretty badass. We're doing some big things. Average Sucks community on Facebook. Thanks for being part of the show.